sometimes you wanna go.
Dr. Lilith Crane, remember?
Yes.
Bebe Neuwirth, two-time Tony winner, too, 35 years old today. Val Kilmer is 16, and
not
Anthony
Val Kilmer.
Hopkins is 108.
Is that
I
really
just
a picture
noticed.
of Val Kilmer?
No, I think I know Bebe
dates are
Neuwirth
off.
is not 35. Val Kilmer might be 18, or perhaps that's how much weight he's put on just in the last month. And Anthony Hopkins is not 108. I think Anthony Hopkins is 75.
What happened to the Iceman?
What is going on with Val Kilmer?
He's taking a little leave of absence from the working world. Maybe.
Well, there's a great new book out that presents a photo history of the transformation of New York City over the years.
Photographer Evan Joseph captured new images from the exact angles as famous old photos.
And the result is the book New York Then and Now. Evan Joseph, thank you for joining us this morning. Well, now, I've heard stories about you. You're known as the photographer that will do anything to get the shot. And now, there was a story about you hanging from a helicopter to get one of these pictures?
I do quite a bit of it, actually. I enjoy shooting from a helicopter, even though it does make me a little motion sick.
Are you strapped in?
I am strapped in.
Okay.
I am strapped in. Sometimes I'm told that it's hard to actually fall out of the helicopter, even if you're leaning, because the wind shear will push you right back in.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting nervous even thinking about it. Oh, wow.
But you feel okay?
I feel okay. I feel okay.
Well, there's a lot of talking about New York Then and Now. The skyline has changed so much over the years, but some of the shots that you show here, still many look very, very similar, almost eerily similar when you're looking at the two dates. Tell us about that.
Well, it's amazing when you look at some of these old photos and then try to line up some of the new ones, like this one that we're looking at right now. So many of the things there are the same. In this shot, I was in a helicopter trying to get the tip of the Empire State Building and the tip of the Empire State Building to hit the horizon at exactly the same spot. And that's how I knew that these two images would lock together. The Staten Island Ferry Terminal is still the same. The Woolworth Building is sort of in the same place. But then everything else has changed. So the shape of the island is still more or less the same. So it's interesting to see these contrasts where certain things line up exactly, and then certain things are completely off and completely new and different.
Well, thank goodness our forefathers had the wisdom to give us a park, Central Park, in Manhattan. What's changed about Central Park, and what thankfully has stayed the same?
Well, Central Park is almost entirely the same. The things that you notice when I was shooting for the book for Central Park is that it's really the people and how they use the park that's changed over the years. So in the shot of Bethesda Fountain, the old one, you see women with parasols and men with top hats, and people are just out for a quiet, casual stroll. They can't possibly be able to move very quickly.
Right.
But then today, it's joggers and rollerbladers and
shirtless rollerbladers,
people flying around. And it's, the structure is exactly the same, and that's thanks to the Central Park Conservatory.
Yeah.
Now, what about Bryant Park? That also looked pretty different.
Bryant Park is amazing. It has been completely reconfigured, except for the library, and this was a tough one to actually try to find the exact same spot because the statue isn't there anymore, and the pathways have just changed utterly. They're not even in this. There are no pathways in that exact spot. So to find my way to where the library itself is at the right angle and in the right place of the shot, that's where everything was anchored. And then, the statue's gone, the paths are different, but it's still that. I know I was in the same position as the old photo.
What about? I would think that Flatiron shots were pretty easy to line up, weren't they?
They were great. The Flatiron, they've done a wonderful job of preserving the area around the Flatiron so it doesn't get crowded by other things. Even you can see from these pictures that the trees coming in from Madison Park are also in the same more or less spot, but now you get a bike lane, of course.
What's the time frame here? How many years between those pictures?
That's it's got to be at least 75
75 years.
Wow, that's fascinating. What about photographer? I mean, photographers back in the day carried loads and loads of equipment. What do you shoot on now?
I shoot on 35mm format digital.
Do you really?
But I'm still carrying a bunch of stuff.
You don't do the iPhone pictures? Come on. People always say your iPhone is just as good as another camera.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, the iPhone is nowhere near what I can do, honestly. I would love to carry around an iPhone and shoot with just that, but it doesn't.
Is this Columbus Circle right here?
This is Columbus Circle. This I had to get up into that restaurant in the new museum that fronts Central Park.
Right.
And they were nice enough to let me stick my camera lens right up against the glass to get this image, which is striking at how close it is. Yeah, how close it is to the old one.
Yeah,
had
you know,
no
the
idea.
thing about
Oh,
Columbus
that's good.
Circle is that Time Warner Center has so dramatically changed everything just in our lifetime. And there used to be all car dealers up there. Yeah, it was all car dealers. Any kind of fun history that you've learned?
You know, just the history of photography is really what came through to me, and to see the difference between the way that people captured images and the structure that they used to take these pictures and the lenses, and to really think through all of that. That was fascinating. And to try to match that using contemporary equipment, that was a real history lesson in itself.
Yeah, like trying to match this, you have 2 shots of Times Square here.
That was very difficult.
Yeah.
I am confident that I was, in the end, in the exact same spot, and it's only a couple of buildings that line up, maybe 1 or 2 that are the same in those shots. But to see how the signage has changed, the people have changed, the cars have changed, and to overlay these 2 images side by side, it really gives you a striking sense of how commercial New York has changed in all those years.
And you even said, really, when you look closely at it, you can't really tell the difference.
Yeah.
If you squint, it's just a field of signage.
Wow. Well, that's New York for you. You know what? If people are late on their holiday presents, you know what? Run out and get a book and give it to you. This is a great coffee table book.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
The book is New York Then and Now. It's available now. Evan Joseph, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
While John looks through the
I can't
book.
stop looking at these pictures. Are great.
John is John's
We
good
will
too.
move on with our cue from the couch. Time to weigh in and let us know what you're planning for 2013. It's our cue from the couch. Today we're asking, what's your New Year's resolution? Visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WLNYTV, and follow us on Twitter @WLNYTV to answer it. Later in the show, we're going to share some of your answers, so make sure you do that.
I'm going to start taking more pictures. I need to get on this. Well,
Beautiful.
Bottoms up as the ball drops. So what are you going to be serving? We've got ideas for every part of your taste buds.
All dressed up and no face to go? We've got the hottest parties around the area, including a pool party.
Yes, we do hear about
Lisa's
this.
house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Highland.
Next, Trisha.